Hi, girls and boys. We're on to chapter 9 of Pax. And remember, in yesterday's chapter, we read that Peter had broken his ankle and he had just spent the night in a nearby barn. And when he woke up the next morning, there was a woman standing over him, Vola. She did not like him in her barn. She wanted him gone, but then she realized that he had a broken ankle. So she created a crutch for him out of wood and then told him, get going. So now we're back to Pax. Okay. Approaching the meadow from the forest above, Gray, remember Gray is the old fox, Gray stopped suddenly, nose in the air. Again. He lifted his muzzle to test the scent more carefully. Stronger. Pax, already hesitant, tensed up. Gray hurried to the edge of the trees. A loner is challenging me. He wants this territory, but his display is for the young vixen's benefit. She will choose a mate this winter. Pax followed and took in the scene below him. 4 foxes dotted the meadow. Bristle and Runt stood together, their black-tipped ears pricked forward warily toward the other 2, who faced each other on a ledge of rock, halfway down. One of these was a vixen, remember that's the name for a female fox, darker than Bristle and big-bellied with kits. The other was a large male with rough, tawny fur. His hackles were up and his left ear was split. Gray barked to announce his presence. The challenger spun off the ledge, an arc of blood spraying from his ear, and bolted down the meadow. Gray picked his way down the hillside, Pax following. As Gray passed Bristle and Runt, his very presence seemed to calm them, as if he were an unseen hand stroking their backs. As soon as he passed, Runt danced his excitement at seeing Pax, but Bristle curled a lip and hissed at Pax. Pax hurried after Gray. When Gray climbed to the ledge beside his mate, Pax dropped to its base and sat respectful. Gray's mate greeted him with affection. Then she shared the news. The wind this morning was from the west. It brought the scent of fire. We must move soon. She looked out at Pax. The outsider smells of humans. Bristle and Runt edged closer, ears cocked toward Gray's response. He is returning to the humans he lived with in the south. I will travel with him to search for a suitable place to move. He and I will rest and then leave tonight. That's what Gray communicated to his mate. Behind him, Bristle growled again, and Pax felt the urge to run. His boy. He only wanted to find his boy. But instinct told him that he needed rest and food first. He signaled his agreement, and then Gray and his mate glided silently into the green meadow. Runt bounded over and tumbled into Pax. He dropped the toy soldier from his cheek, inviting Pax to play. Bristle jumped between them and swatted the toy away. Humans, remember the danger. Runt retrieved the toy and displayed it between his teeth, defiant. Pax sensed that Runt was now in more trouble than before, and that he was the cause. He had felt that way often with his boy and the father, and one of his strategies had been to disappear, as if that would protect his boy from the man's anger. So he backed away, but Bristle was not satisfied. Stay away from the human stinker, she warned her brother. Remember the danger. Pax took a step closer. My humans are not dangerous, he communicated. Runt seemed alarmed by this, as if Pax had issued a challenge. He darted uphill toward his den entrance, but his sister was quicker. She blocked him, and when he tried to slink away in another direction, she restrained him with a heavy paw until he stilled in defeat. All humans are dangerous, she told her brother. Pax's fur ruffled in a shiver at the scene. Bristle conjured them, wind, cold and howling and heavy with the threat of snow. Pax recognized that wind. The story she was about to relate would end with blood on the snow and cold steel jaws. Bristle bared her fangs at Pax, and then began. Began what? Let's find out. At the jog in the wall where he had seen the deer, Peter stopped. So now we're back to the human chapter. At the jog in the wall where he had seen the deer, Peter stopped. There was blood already. He had stumbled and ripped open the tender web of skin at the base of his thumb on a jagged splinter, and buckets of sweat. His arms trembled from the strain of lifting his weight for only these few minutes, his palms already raw on the rubber grips of his crutches, and the throbbing in his right foot menaced like thunder. But none of that was what was wrong. It wasn't even the prospect of returning to his grandfather's grim house. He was going in the wrong direction. He wheeled around. He stabbed the ground and swung over it, stabbed and swung, so he's going on his crutches, until he planted himself in the doorway of Vola's barn again. He drew himself up tall. No! Vola's head snapped up. She shot him a warning scowl, but on her face, Peter read a flash of something else. Fear. I'm not going back, he said more firmly. Whether you help me or not, I'm going to get my fox. Help you? Peter moved to the bench and hoisted himself up. Teach me. What you said about moving from my arms, about getting stronger, you learned how to get around on one leg. Teach me how to do it. You were a medic. Set my bone. Please, I'll do whatever you tell me to. He picked up the cider and drank it down to show his trust. Then I'll leave, but even if you won't help me, I'm going to get my fox. Vola put her hands on her hips and lowered her head to eye him. A tamed fox set loose in the wild? You know he might be dead, don't you? I know, and it would be my fault. If he's dead, I need to bring him home and bury him. Either way, I'm going to go back to find my fox and bring him home. Vola studied Peter as if she were seeing him for the first time. So, which is it? You going back for your home or for your pet? They're the same thing, Peter said, the answer sudden and sure, although a surprise to him. And you're going to do this no matter who tries to stop you? Because it's the right thing for you, at your core? Vola made a fist and thumped her chest. Your core? Is that true? Peter waited before answering, because this woman, maybe crazy, maybe not, had asked it as if the fate of the world depended on it. But the answer was the same as it would have been if he had blurted it out. The answer would have been the same if he had waited a lifetime to think it over. He thumped his own chest and felt the muscle of his heart leap. Yes, in fact, there's nothing else I know at my core but to go get my fox. The woman nodded. Well, you're 12. That's old enough to know your own self, I expect. I'm not about to go messing with that, so, all right. You'll help me? I'll help you. Vola extended her hand to shake. On 3 conditions. What do you think those conditions are? Nothing's ever easy, is it? All right, let's find out. Now we're back to the animals again. My brother was born in my mother's second litter, so this must be the sister talking. They came early in the season. Last year, spring came late. Snow fell and did not melt. The earth stayed frozen beneath it. I lived nearby. I helped hunt. All day long, our parents and I searched for food because the kits were always hungry, but there was never enough food. 2 of his littermates died on the same day. The farm, our mother urged, at the human's farm there was always fat mice in the warm barn. At the human's farm there were eggs in the chicken coop. Our father would not risk it, however. Well, when our 3rd kit grew too weak to stand, our mother defied him. She went against the father's wishes. Runt raised his head and gave Bristle a pleading look, but Bristle ignored it. So she let the strongest of her new kits, my sister, and me to the human's farm. Runt edged closer and pressed his nose into Pax's shoulder. Instantly, the vixen lashed at his cheek, although Pax noted she did not use her claws. Runt dropped to the ground. She continued. The ground around the barn was cleared of snow by many footprints, animals as well as humans. The air was rich with the smell of rodents. Our mother headed for a gap in the wooden boards near the base, with us a few tail lengths behind. Just before she reached the barn, steel jaws sprang out of the earth with such speed that the air snapped. Our mother screamed. The clamp held her front leg. The more she thrashed about, the deeper the metal cut. She began biting at her leg to free it. Every time we tried to come near, she ordered us away. Our father appeared. He had followed our tracks. He chased my sister and me back into the brush and ordered us to stay there. Then he set to helping our mother. The scene she conveyed was of two foxes bonded by both an old love and a new fear, the fear so terrible that their eyes rolled back in their sockets, so vivid that Pax could smell its sharp scent. Runt began to whimper, a piteous sound that made Pax want to comfort him, but Bristle warned him to keep away. So she continued her story. A human came then with a stick. Both our parents screamed at us to run home, but we stayed. We saw. The humans raised the stick, and in front of our eyes, our mother and our father burst into blood and fur, and shattered bones spattered over the snow. Runt whined and backed away toward the den again, and again Bristle stopped him. Well, my sister and I could not leave our parents' bodies. Darkness fell, and the next day came, and still we hid in a pile of wood beside the barn. Finally, we set out, but that night it began to snow. The snow blotted out all sounds and scent. Lost, we crawled under a sweep of pine boughs, and I curled myself around my sister, who was so much smaller. In the morning, she died. When the snow stopped, I saw that we had sheltered beneath the great pine at the top of our ridge. We had been within sight of our home. The image she shared then, her sister's frozen corpse at the base of the mighty pine, seemed to exhaust her. Why do we have no family, brother? Runt turned to Pax. Because of the humans, we have no family. Bristle turned her golden eyes on Pax, inviting a challenge. If he could have, he would have made her know every kindness of every day with his boy. But the hatred she had for humans was deep and fair. Instead, he offered his cheek in sympathy. Bristle turned away and ordered her brother into the den. So she definitely had a bad experience with humans, and you can understand why she's very skeptical about trusting humans. She just really hates them. I mean, they killed her mother and her father, and her sister died because of it as well. So now we know why she does not like humans. Okay. Stay tuned to the next chapter. We'll be back on the human side of the book. Take care. Bye.